Right, well, I'm going to make some Skirlie now. This is an easy recipe. It's a sort of Scottish stuffing. It's usually served as a side dish. And instead of using breadcrumbs, like you would with most stuffings, you use porridge oats. It smells a bit rich. I'll try it. No, it's not really for me at all. I'm going to have to get a drink of water. I can drink this. Bone broth isn't for me. Oh. Well, good morning everybody, and welcome to the second week of this challenge, or welcome to day 8 as we might like to call it. Well, what a night. Wet, very windy, and now it's sleeting quite hard. It's dull and dreary. I'm probably going to get wet again like I did last night because I've booked to go on a Tai Chi workshop up at Hildeston College. It's an hour and a quarter. I need to get 1 or 2 little bits as well with the new budget. So let's talk about the budget. How did we do? Well, overall, by last night we were in credit by £1.35, and I thought about the items that I may not have used all of, and I worked out credits for those. So we had half a cucumber, so that's 70p because the cucumber had been £1.40, so that takes us to £2.05. I had 700 grams left over of a 1.25 kilo bag of white potatoes. The potatoes have been yellow ticketed at £1.12 a bag, so I'm adding 63p for those. And there was also a discrepancy on how much we actually pay for the milk and eggs we receive each week from Milk and More. I thought it was £7.66, but on checking with Dan, it turns out it's £7.24. So there we have a 42p credit, and that gives us £3.10. I thought then about what we'd taken out of the fridge that hadn't been opened. So I've subtracted that from the £3.10. So first we had half a pack of butter by Graham's Dairies, which I'd got from Home Bargains before Christmas. It was a 250 gram pack, so we'd used 125 grams, so that's £1. The kefir was also by Graham's Dairies. I'd used half a bottle of that. It's £1.35 for a full bottle from Home Bargains, so that's 67p. Then we used 60 grams of cream cheese from a 180 gram tub, again from Home Bargains. That had cost 99p, so that's 33p. And I used 4 free range eggs at £1.50 for half a dozen from the food bank and community shop in Margate. So that's £1. And if you add all those up, then we get 10p credit. As the milk and the eggs actually costs £7.24, not £7.66. That means I actually have, with that 10p, £12.86 to spend this week. It would normally be £12.76 in the budget left over for food. I had most of the eggs left from the first week, and of course I've got eggs from this week which arrived yesterday. I have 8 eggs now remaining because I had 2 for breakfast, and very nice they were too. They'd gone over slightly, but I don't really mind that too much. One split in the pan, I like mine over easy because I don't use a lot of oil or ghee, just a little. So we're doing okay. There's a few things I need to get today, but I'm going to be looking for bargains. We're hoping to do a Too Good To Go as well this weekend from the co-op, which should save us quite a lot of money if it's a good bag of things. We've mostly had good bags. There was only once where we only had a few items and they were very apologetic. And I think more people are doing Too Good To Go as the pennies pinch in the supermarkets and all the other shops with the price increases. But I'm hopeful we'll get a few things that we need at any rate. It's going to be a late lunch today. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to have, to be perfectly honest. But we're having a nice dinner tonight. I cooked a free-range turkey crown on New Year's Day. Our friendly neighbours came round for a meal and drinks. I made a nice pan of stuffing as well. So I'm going to be doing some leftover turkey, and then with some veggies, whatever I can find today. And I'm going to make a pan of Skirlie, which is a Scottish stuffing type side dish made with porridge oats. So I'll see you back later. Well, at last I'm back from my lesson and the shops. It's almost 3 o'clock. When I got on the bus, I was told that there was no stops in Broadstairs. The nearest stop was Percy Road, which is going towards St Peter's. It's very wet, very windy, cold, damp. And I asked the bus driver when the service is going to be restored, and he said he didn't know. Everything's been suspended in Broadstairs town centre. Anyway, I had a good Tai Chi session. It was nice to meet like-minded people, and I've booked a 10-week course which starts next week. I'm looking forward to it, though not necessarily the long walk back afterwards. Every bone in my body is now aching because I've got shopping as well. I bought a few items, mostly yellow ticketed. Carrots, they were from Tesco. These tin tomatoes were from the co-op. I used my co-op card, got a discount on those. And also the pizza was yellow ticketed, 32p. That's a late lunch for me today. Lovely jubbly. Had I got home sooner, I might have been inclined to have done myself a hot Marmite drink as well. I've got some bones from the butcher. These beef bones were £1.50. 2 big ones. He very kindly chopped them in half. I'm going to make a bone broth, and I might also make a beef and vegetable soup with some of the bone broth as well. So those bits cost £4.22, which means we're down to £8.64. It's tea time now and the cats are fed, so I'm preparing supper. Over here I've chopped some swede and carrot. I'm going to mash that. I've got the rest of the stewed apple, that's our apple sauce. And I'm going to parboil these potatoes and roast them in the oven. I'm melting a little bit of raw ghee in this pan. This is how I coat the potatoes for roasting. So in with the potatoes, and I'm just going to coat them in all that butter, all that lovely ghee. And I'll just flip them over and then they go in the dish, and then I'll pop those in the oven. And then I'll show you how to make skirlie. And then these go in the dish, and this is going in the oven, and they will be roasting off for probably about 40-45 minutes. Right, well, I'm going to make some skirlie now. This is an easy recipe. It's a sort of Scottish stuffing. It's usually served as a side dish, and instead of using breadcrumbs like you would with most stuffings, you use porridge oats. Now these are some artisan porridge oats. We've already come across these in week 1. I've got 50 grams here of porridge oats. What I'm going to do is I'm going to melt this ghee in the pan, and then I've chopped up some onion, and I'm going to fry that off for a few minutes, just until, I don't want it to caramelise, just until it sweats off nicely, so on a very gentle heat. So that'll just do its own thing now. In the meantime, you need a goodly amount of stock. I've used a stock cube. You can use vegetable water, you can use a vegetable stock cube, you could use a chicken stock cube, whatever floats your boat. The garlic and herb ones are really nice. Can you see now how the onions are softening? That's how you want them to be, nice and glistening, but not brown, because this is going to get baked in the oven. There's 50 grams of the oats there, give that a stir through, and I'm going to add 2 or 3 cups of the stock. This is the hot stock. I will measure it out, but normally I just eyeball it. Give it a stir with each cup. And remember, you can add more stock if necessary. You don't want the mixture to be too stiff. You want it to be loose. And you're not cooking it into porridge. You just want to allow some of the liquids to evaporate, but taking all the flavours of whatever stock you're using. So I'll just add a little bit more. I've got a little bit of cube still in the bottom, so I can top that up. There we go, that'll be enough. I'm going to put the pan over the heat. And then I'm going to add some herbs. We don't really need salt and pepper because we've used the stock cube. But if we were just using water or vegetable water, then you might want to add some salt and pepper. So I'm going to add this bit of thyme. This is our own thyme, which I've dried out. You can smell it already. Garden herbs. What do you think of that?
Yes.
And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick off some of this rosemary as well. You could use a knife. I'm just twisting and snapping. Rustic is good. You could use sage, you could use parsley, if you like coriander, why not add that? Whatever floats your boat. If you don't have any fresh, just use mixed dried herbs. And then give that a stir through. And literally we're just waiting for it now to start to resemble porridge, and it will start to thicken, and then we can take it off the heat, because by then the oats will have softened enough. It smells really good. It's like a savoury porridge. We Scots do things a bit differently from other people. I'm just sprinkling a bit of rosemary on these potatoes. That's as pure as it gets. The potatoes are seasoned with a little salt when I drain them in the pan while they were steaming off. The rosemary just about finishes it off though. There's nothing like a rosemary potato. You see how this is now thickening up? That's how you want it. A few minutes more and then we can think about putting it in a dish and then chucking it in the oven. So here we have the savoury porridge. In a way I suppose it's similar to polenta. It's a Scottish version of that. That's ready to go in the oven. I might just put a little bit of butter on the top, just to help it on its way. Dan's back from his mum's, so we've got a free apple and some free kiwi. And in the fridge there's a free tuna on the go. And there's also some salad and some grapes in there. So, happy days. I'm certainly not going to turn down a few free bits of fruit and vegetables. We have a little over £8 left, so we need to tread carefully. That has to last us the whole week. Dan decided to decant the gold top and we put that in the freezer. The milk we get hasn't been messed around with, so it's the kind of milk you need to use in a timely manner or it goes off, which we don't want. I don't like waste. It can be defrosted and ready to use when we actually need it. We have enough for the weekend. We only just opened a bottle now, so Dan could have a cup of tea when he came home. I used the last of the skimmed dried milk mixture for my cup of tea this early evening. This is the Skirlie. Do you see how it's set? It's slightly looser than I would have liked. I think I probably added a little bit too much water, but it's got the texture of polenta. So I'm going to serve up now, and then we can have a taste at the table. This is something you can cook ahead. You see, as it cools, it goes a bit thicker. So it's ideal as a stuffing if you want to prepare things ahead.
I'll taste it.
Yeah, let me know what you think.
The Skirlie. Here it is.
Yes.
It's really nice. A nice texture. with the chicken, the turkey I mean.
This is our bargain meal on our second week of rations.
It's gorgeous. It's really nice.
What mark would you give me for that?
Oh, about 15 out of 10.
You're enjoying it?
I'm enjoying it, yeah.
Has the Skirlie got plenty of flavour?
Oh, loads of flavour.
Well, it's really nice because, of course, oats have 14 grams of protein per 100 grams. Yes, Merlin, exactly. Which means that if you're vegetarian, it's a good alternative to eating meat. And it's a good alternative from the normal stuffing as well. It's a little bit more interesting. And it's certainly, I think, tastier than a packet of Paxo. Well, I'm going to eat my dinner now, folks. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 9. Hey, welcome to day 9. This is day 2 of week 2. Now, I had a reasonably okay night, but I was in dull ache from early this morning. I think it was all the rain I had to walk through yesterday because I had shopping. I'd also got some cat food, which isn't in the budget, and had to walk quite a distance, including uphill with shopping in the pouring rain and the wind, with sciatica, after an hour and a quarter of Tai Chi, several thousand steps anyway, on top of the hour and a quarter workout, on top of the evening before when I'd walked to Broadstairs, St. Peter's and back, which is about 10,000 steps in wind and rain because there were no buses. And no idea when the buses are going to be restored to the area. Anyway, I'm going to take today a bit more gently if I can. We just had some free bread roll that came from the food bank and community shop. I had Marmite. This is going to be a tougher week, I already know that. We haven't got a huge budget. We had £8.64 before supper last night, and now we have about £8.43. And Dan's gone off today to get a couple of essential bits. We've also ordered a Too Good To Go bag for £3.30 from Aldi. We'll wait and see if that actually happens. Sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see what balance we have at the end of the day. I want a little bit of wriggle room though, so I can maybe create 1 or 2 meals with bits in the freezer that haven't been opened yet, just to add a bit of variety. Anyway, I'm going to make a bone broth now with those bones I got from the chef and butcher. These are the beef bones. My butcher prepared 2 of these for me. He cut them in half. As you can see, there's lots of meat on there, and these only cost £1.50. Bones are an incredible source of collagen. Of course, if like me, you're not keen on meat, you can make fish soup with the bones and any other offcuts of fish. Marine collagen is also incredibly good, especially if you're on an anti-inflammatory diet, and the collagen will help to expand your discs as well if you suffer from something like arthritis or degenerative spine, for example. If you're vegetarian, then something like broccoli will also promote the body's growth of collagen. You might also eat eggs. Egg yolk is particularly good, and also you'll find collagen in chicken skin. They are going in this roasting tin for about half an hour. I've set the oven to 190 Celsius, which is gas mark 5 or 475 Fahrenheit. And then After half an hour, I will add a carrot and an onion, and it will all cook for a further 15 or 20 minutes in the oven. These are fantastic. Now, I thought about it, and I think, well, you can see there's marrow in there, that I could maybe cut off some of this meat. It would be a nice lunch for Dan today. We've got some salad that he didn't eat, that his mum had packed him up with. The problem is when he's out tuning, he doesn't always have enough time to get a full lunch break and doesn't get round to eating all his food, which is what happened yesterday. But there's a nice amount of meat there. I won't take it all off, I'll leave some of it on because you want a lot of the goodness going in the broth. But there's a bit I can take off there, nice and meaty, that will make him a nice sandwich, or just as a complement to his salad. And we also have free bread and we have cream cheese left as well. So I'll do that now. That's the carrot and the onion. They will be going in the stock pot. So I'm putting the beef bones in. There's still plenty of meat on there, on the Moreira. It'll soften now. And the onion and the carrot. There may be a bit of dripping there as well, which is nice. This is a 2-pint enamel jug. I'm going to add a couple of things. It's just water. There we go. I have a big piece of rosemary here. That's from our garden. That's the last piece of the dried out rosemary. This is pure kosher salt. I'm going to add a teaspoon of this. A good sized bay leaf. I'm adding some coriander seed and also some black peppercorns. If you haven't got any of these la-di-da items, some dried mixed herbs would be okay, and also salt and pepper, but do try and use the best salt you possibly can. Table salts are not particularly good for anybody. If you had celery as well, you could add a celery stick. You would put it in the oven at the same time as the carrot and the onion. I, alas, have none. Now this will cook away very slowly on the back burner for anything between 6 and 12 hours. If the water goes down substantially, I will add some more. You want a goodly amount of liquid. Give that a try, see what you think of that.
Oh, this looks really nice.
That's literally just the bits off the beef bones.
It's lovely.
I've still left quite a bit of meat on the bones for the broth.
It's really nice.
It's like burnt ends. Are you enjoying that?
Very much so. It's like a Middle Eastern kebab.
It's incredible, isn't it, how much food you can get out of 2 bones for £1.50.
Yes.
Dan's been to the food bank, so I'm going to see what he's got. These had been reduced, but he got these for nothing. So there's a coronation chicken, which has his name on it. And then I've got an egg mayonnaise and cress. That will be lunch tomorrow. Waitrose, very nice. Waitrose actually are brilliant. There's 1 or 2 shops that have stopped doing the food bank, like our little Tesco down the road, but the Waitrose in town, they're still doing the food bank. I have a friend who, when she was living in Ramsgate, regularly used to go into Waitrose and spend £30 odd worth of stuff just to put in the food bank. Amazing lady. And we have a free loaf. This is Jackson's of Yorkshire. This costs nothing. Of course, it had been reduced. Now, this is also something that's sold in Waitrose. It's beautiful bread. It doesn't have any palm oil in. It does have rapeseed oil, but no palm oil. And it doesn't have any folic acid. And it's still nice and squishy. So that will be going in the freezer. And then we have another free loaf. This has been reduced to 89p. A stone-baked white ball. A proper ball is usually made with French flour. And again, that doesn't have any added folic acid. So that's all free food. And then Dan got a bag of shallots from the food bank. These were 50p. They're rather nice. They're big ones, so they can be used just like an onion. And they're from the UK. And a massive bag of red potatoes, which were also 50p. Perfect for creamy mash and wedges. That'll do nicely. And these are from Barton Place Farms in Suffolk. And the variety is Mozart, believe it or not. Very nice. And this is a 2 kilo bag. And then I got Dan to get us half a dozen eggs. And these were £1.35 from the food bank. And the free range from the Savers range. And they will do nicely. So, altogether, we've spent £2.35. I did give him £3 and he came back with 65p change, and he's done brilliantly. And we've got a good amount of basic ingredients for delicious meals. The eggs are absolutely essential. They're really good for you, especially the yolks. Very happy. Well done, Dan. Oh, we've got 20p. That must be the shallots. Oh, look.
Oh, even further discount. That's even better.
Yeah. Well, actually, contrary to what Dan told me, the shallots were actually only 20p. So we've only spent £2.05 out of his £3 budget. So he came back with 95p. Even better. Well done, Dan. It's been quite a busy day today, although not too full on for me. I've achieved a few things. I'm back from the Emporium. The pitch was reasonably tidy. I just replenished a few things. The bone broth I've taken off the stove now. Dan will strain it and then I'll be cooking it off again tomorrow for a little while, and then it'll be ready to use. For supper we're having half a tin of Heinz baked beans. These came from Approved Food. They were about 50p each. They were on a special deal. So that's 25p. We're also going to have an egg, a slice each of the free bread from the Food Bank and Community Shop, and some homemade chips. I'm going to fry those off in a little of the beef dripping and then finish them off in the oven. Try. This looks yummy. So simple. And this has only cost us an extra 25p. Some grated cheese as well.
It's great.
It is great. Right, let me try this. Very nice. It might only be simple, but it's really tasty and just the thing you need on a cold winter's evening. And we've got our bread and butter as well. Tuck in, babe. Well, Dan has done the too good to go. He went to Aldi and paid £3.30 and they've given us a box of things. Let's see what we've got for £3.30. We've got a Warburton's, look at that, toasting. That's okay, that doesn't have any folic acid in. And then we've got this one, both in one, Village Bakery. This is an Aldi. It's got palm oil in. Ugh. However, it doesn't have any folic acid. Then there's a couscous. Dan, you'll be taking this to work on Monday. Oh, and a lovely wee salad there. That's rather nice as well. Feta salad. And we've got a couple of aubergines. They're all right. There's some bits that have to be removed, but they'll be all right. And then we've got some radishes. That's nice. That's another salady bit. And a cucumber. Oh wow, we've got 2 packs of fruit here. Some of this might be nice for breakfast with our porridge. We're having porridge and chia seeds tomorrow for breakfast. And then we've got this pack of apples. So there's probably about £10 worth, £12 worth of food here for £3.30. That's really good. That's going to keep us going this week. So we've had quite a successful day really, what with the bits from the food bank and the Too Good To Go. We've still got a little bit of money in the tin tank, sort of about 280-ish, that sort of thing. I'll put up on the screen exactly how much. I think it's around 284. So I think it's turned out to be quite a successful day's shopping really. I'm very happy with that, and with the bits I bought yesterday as well. So I think we'll be quite well fed. I mean, we haven't got a lot of things to eat without going into the freezer supplies or the cupboard, but we've certainly got plenty of bread. So I'll be thinking up some recipes with the bread. Dan, you might need to do one of your bread and butter puddings, which you haven't done.
That's a distinct possibility.
But it's good. We've got plenty for sandwiches and pack-ups and things, and we won't need any bread next week, that's for sure. This will get frozen now, this bread, and the rest we'll sort out and put away. I think tomorrow is going to be, I'll use at least one of these tomorrow, possibly both of them. I think I'm going to be making a yummy dal soup for supper tomorrow night, and we can have some bread with it. I might do a bit of homemade garlic bread. How would you like that?
That sounds lovely.
Okay. So I'll see you tomorrow for day 10. Dan is now skimming off all the fat from the top of the broth. You see there's quite a lot. This is the importance of letting it rest in the refrigerator overnight. You could keep the fat if you wanted. We might dry it out and use it.
Little bits out. So.
And when Dan's done that, I will be boiling this up again. We've kept the bones, there was still some goodness in them. So I'm just going to boil it up again with the bones, and then I'll be discarding the bones. And it's ready to use or drink. Nice job, Dan.
There's a few little bits that come out.
When I've cooked it up again, I'll be straining it anyway.
Yeah, there we are.
going to give Dan some of this feta and couscous salad that we got last night from the Too Good To Go. The sachet was actually in with the salad, which isn't very good if you are on the go. So your hands are going to get really sticky with the dressing. I'm going to put this on the plate for Dan, just a little of it, and he can take the rest of it tomorrow as part of his packed lunch. I'll give him this big leaf here because that's not easy to pack, is it? And I'll give him a bit of the normal couscous as well. There, that's nice for him. And there's Dan's coronation chicken sandwich. It's got some spinach running through. If you're on an anti-inflammatory diet, spinach is an anti-inflammatory inhibitor. So foods containing anti-inflammatory properties will be inhibited by spinach, and I presume chard would be similar. So that's one of the few cruciferous vegetables to avoid if you are on an anti-inflammatory diet. So there we go. So you can tuck into that, babe.
Right, let's try the broth first. That's really nice. Nicely seasoned.
Is it?
Nice warming drink.
I'll turn some of it into a soup for you.
Lovely. Let's see the sandwiches are like. They're nice.
All right, aren't they?
They're
Too good to go.
Yeah.
What about the salad? I've put a bit of red onion on your plate as well, just to
lovely.
pep it up a bit.
It's nice.
Oh, that's amazing.
Let's try the couscous. That's really nice.
What would you give me for the bone broth?
Full marks, it's really nice.
Is it?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Well, there'll be some soup coming soon. And the rest I will either put in the freezer in bags, or you can take to work in your flask as a drink.
Yeah.
Bone broth's something that you can drink during the day. You don't necessarily have to have it at lunchtime. If you just want a afternoon pick-me-up, you can have a cup of bone broth.
Yeah.
And it's very low in calories as well. Well, this is mine. The sandwich looks quite good. Let's see what it's like. Could do with a bit more seasoning. I might put some pepper on that. I've done myself a wild rocket salad with red onion. Now, as you know, I'm not keen on meat. But I guess if I need to increase my collagen further, I need to at least give it a go when it comes to health matters. I'll do what I can naturally, anything to avoid pharmaceuticals, if it's going to benefit health. It smells a bit rich. I'll try it. No, it's not really for me at all. I'm going to have to get a drink of water. You can drink this. Bone broth definitely isn't for me. Oh. Oh. Oh, that's better. This is what the bone broth looks like. That's all been strained anyway, and I'm going to put the bones on a plate, and when they're dried off they will go outside for the food recycling. And that's all the goodness. And now the broth can be used as a stock or as a soup base. Probably tomorrow I'll be doing Dan some beef and vegetable soup, or maybe beef and lentil soup for his work flask. I think it will make a really nice lunch for him while the weather's cold and miserable. And it's certainly nutritious. Alas, as you've already seen, I do not like bone broth. I've made it for Dan a few times in the past. I've never tried it before. I don't like it. But Dan loves it, and that's the main thing. Well, it's evening now. I've had a busy day. I've been aching a lot today, and I was yesterday a bit. It's because of Friday's debacle with the buses, and I got cold in my bones and the joints. Anyway, it's time to finish getting the supper ready. We're having a few Indian snacks. We got a packet of Tesco Indian snacks after Christmas for £1.50. There were 18 pieces and we're having 6 of them, so that's 50p. I'm just heating the oven up, and then I'm going to heat up the dal that I made earlier, and I'll probably do a piece of garlic bread between us. I'll probably do olive oil, garlic and coriander as a topping. Salad for tomorrow. I've used a bit of the beef that we got off the bones. The rest of that will be used to make some beef soup. I might put some lentils in that and some carrot and different bits. I'll be doing that tomorrow. Haven't decided yet how I'm going to do it. So this is a lovely healthy salad for Dan to take to work tomorrow. I think he'll really enjoy that. It's surprising what you can get from 2 beef bones costing £1.50. A load of beef, a load of beef broth, and some beef dripping, and a lot of beef fat. And tomorrow, a beef soup. Obviously it takes quite a lot of prep, but it's well worth it when you're on a really tight budget. I also recommend getting something like a ham hock as well, if you have that extra money in your budget. Okay, well, we can start on these while the soup's getting to the boil.
That's nice.
Let's try the garlic bread. Not bad. Good?
That's very nice.
Here you go, try that.
Thank you. Let's give this a go. It's gorgeous, it's really nice.
Is it? Is it spicy enough?
Yeah, delayed heat.
Oh, excellent. Well, that was a cracking supper, and the dal was quite spicy too. I used a large bird eye chilli. We grew some the other year, and we're only just coming to the end of them. They freeze really well. I always chop up chilli from frozen. They keep extremely well in a container, even up to a year. Anyway, absolutely cracking meal. Indian snacks were great. My garlic bread was nice and crunchy that I'd made for us, and reasonably healthy. because I used olive oil, good quality olive oil. So that's the end of day 10. And so far, so good. We've both got full bellies. Dan's got a nice salad for tomorrow. His mum had given him some nuts the other day as well, which he hadn't got to eat, and a small bunch of grapes. So his lunchbox is sorted. He's not going out till 9 o'clock tomorrow, so I think we're having a scrambled egg on toast, and we'll probably share the other pack of fruit salad that came as part of our Too Good To Go. With the 1 or 2 bits and bobs that I've used today, we've got £2.13 remaining in the kitty, which is not too bad. I've got a good plan of what I'm going to be cooking Monday through Thursday. It won't cost very much of our budget, and it gives me a bit of leeway for charging out for things that we've used from the fridge. So I'll bid you good evening, and I'm going to have a relaxing evening now with my boy. So I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now. Well, welcome to day 11. Dan has made us scrambled eggs with 2 eggs and a little of our milk allowance and some free ball that we had from the community shop at the weekend. So I'm going to tuck in. It looks very nice. It saves me the job of doing it. It's nice. Well done, Dan. Well, I've had quite a busy morning, although in a slow way. I've been to the garden centre. I've found a present for my brother, and I bought Dan a sweater in the sale, and also some tomato seeds for the spring. These are what I got. Quite a nice variety. We've got a couple more packets in the utility, but we used a lot last year. Some did things and produced amazing fruit, others did nothing. So it's always a good idea to have plenty to hand, just in case the first batch go off or dampen off when they get a little bit mouldy. As I've said many times, we live in a marine climate, so it's very humid. I mean, yesterday the humidity was like 92%. Crazy. We'd had so much rain, but it's like this all year round, very humid. So this is what I've got, and I will give these a propagation probably around about March or April, but I now cold stratify a lot of my seeds. Please go and have a look in my vault, look at gardening videos that I produced, and I explain how to cold stratify. Anyway, I've bagged up some of the beef broth, probably about 500 millilitres, and I've got a good 500 millilitres left, maybe a little more. So I'm going to make a soup with the rest of the beef from the bones. Hopefully it'll last him a couple of days in his food flask. And at this time of the year, it's good to have something warm and nutritious to keep you going. He tends to have pretty long days. This is the rest of the bone broth. I just need to finish skimming it. You can see there's still just a little bit of white, but most of it I've skimmed off now. got a lovely lunch. It's only a little bit of cream cheese and cucumber. It's going to be quite tasty with the free bread. And the free bread was really fresh. We have enough of it, so there's going to be quite a few probably bread based meals. I'm trying to keep my bread down. I just had one slice with my scrambled egg this morning. We had to toss the other half of the cucumber that we got last week out because it had gone funny. We've got a very cold fridge and somehow it had slipped to the back and it was all icy. It wasn't fit to eat. But at least we got a whole new one from the Too Good To Go. So I'm still able to enjoy some cucumber, which is one vegetable I didn't used to like at all. But I will eat it now. Not my favourite, but I've got used to it. We burn more calories eating and digesting it than what's actually in it. So, like celery, it's a win-win. Cucumbers are a member of the melon family, and I'm not over keen on melons either. Although again, I will eat them now. The radishes we had from the Too Good To Go are really nice. Delicious. Very nice indeed. And wild rocket is brilliant. I love this stuff. And it's a fab vegetable too if, like watercress, you're on an anti-inflammatory diet. Very nice indeed. I'm going off to my piano lesson in a little while. So I'm going to tuck into this and finish making Dan's beef soup. I'm doing him a turkey in the hole for supper tonight. I'm doing one or two just plain Yorkshire puddings as well. I'm using a little muffin pan and I'm doing some nice gravy with some of the beef stock. I like gravy too, so I always keep in some gravy granules, although sometimes I'll do gravy with a veg stock cube as well. So bon appetit folks, and see you later. Well, it's time to sort the tea out. The cats are fed. I'm going to be doing some turkey in the hole for Dan. So I'm going to make a batch of Yorkshire puddings. There'll be a couple of Yorkshire puddings that don't have any turkey in. Happy days. And there's also some gravy from the beef soup that I've made him this afternoon. And I'm doing some cold cannon. I don't really feel like I've achieved that much today. I've still not got round to turning the curtains under. I've been making a pair of under cupboard curtains for the kitchen, under the counter, and linings for new curtains for the bedroom. And I've not really got very far. I did some ironing a few days ago. Dan did some ironing the other day. Time just seems to fly. I had a good piano lesson. I'm now a quarter of the way through my Mozart piece. Happy days. It's going okay. I need to speed it up, but I'm taking it gently. So I better get prepping. So I'll see you in a bit.
Plain holes.
Anything. Plain holes, yeah.
Put some gravy on it.
Tell me what you think of this creation.
Let's have a look.
It's only humble food, but hopefully it's filling. We couldn't spare any corn sausages or anything in the budget, so I thought the last of the turkey would suffice because it's free food.
It's really nice. Turkey goes well.
Does it?
Oh yeah.
You like the batter?
Yes, I do.
Do you like your gravy? Well, there's a whole litre of soup in the fridge.
Lovely. I'll take some tomorrow.
Well, that's another day in the bag. All that food went. All 6 Yorkshires. Dan really enjoyed the turkey ones. He was very hungry, although he hadn't eaten in between his meals and he'd enjoyed his lunch. I feel satisfied as well. I'd made the colcannon and I mashed it with some olive oil and a garlic clove and a little milk, which is just as well because the milk in the fridge was on the turn. We haven't got much of it left, so we'll be taking out the one last milk from the week's ration, which is Jersey milk, and I often do water that down anyway for things like custards and such. So I'm going to sign off in a moment, but I'll quickly show you what I've made for Dan's pack up tomorrow. So there's a lovely salad here. I've made quite a bit of salad and I've stored it in the fridge in a lunch box, so there'll be enough for Wednesday as well. That saves me on prep tomorrow. He's got some chopped almonds in there and my homemade kimchi. It's a really crunchy salad. It's got the last of the rocket in there and the last of the lettuce. There's the new cucumber and a little bit of red onion. And then over here, leftovers from supper tonight, turkey that I didn't put in the Yorkshires. And there's just a little bit of mayonnaise on there, and I think you'll really enjoy it. Hopefully it will be enough along with the beef soup that I made him today. He's in for breakfast tomorrow. He doesn't have any tunies till the afternoon, and we're having toast and fruit salad for breakfast. We didn't eat the fruit salad this morning. I'm going to wash it out now before it starts to ferment, and that's what we'll be having tomorrow morning along with our toast. The positive thing is, although we don't have much money, we both got full bellies. I find I'm being quite creative with what I'm preparing. Neither of us are hungry, neither of us are eaten today between meals. And I'm looking forward to day 12, so I'll see you tomorrow for that. Night, everyone. Had a busy morning. We had toast and fruit salad for breakfast. We had the second punnet of fresh fruit salad. It was still perfectly fine. I've been busy doing some ironing. Dan had a couple of hours off this morning and went to get some cat biscuits and litter. I'm gonna nip out for a little while now. I need to go and do some errands, and I'll be back in a bit for lunch, and I'll see what I can cobble together then. Rations are quite tight this week, folks, but we should survive, all being well. I'm not 100% confident I can come in within the budget this week, but I'm doing the best that I can. Of course, if I do go over budget at all, then we'll just have a little less to spend next week, and I reckon mostly what we'd be doing in that case is a too good to go, and maybe a trip to the food bank and community shop. Well, I got soaking again in the rain. So I did all my errands. And for lunch, I've got some cucumber sandwiches. These are based on 1940s ideas. I've got one with cream cheese like I had yesterday, but this one is cucumber and pickle. Just a smattering of mango pickle. That's nice. We're doing okay with the budget. It's very tight. I don't really have much allowance for using store cupboard items, so I don't think there's going to be any sardines for lunch this week or anything of that nature. I certainly can't use any more beans other than the half can that's still in the fridge. But it is what it is. We're not going to starve. We've got leftover dal for supper. I'm going to jazz it up a bit. In the meantime, I'm going to enjoy my sandwiches and salad. There we go. and then I'll probably do a bit of paperwork and have a rest. I feel tired, didn't have a very good night's sleep. The energies were weird. Miss Robin kept meowing and scratching. She had brought up a fur ball, but she wasn't settled, and neither were the other two, and Dan wasn't settled either. Definitely energies. I had a bit of a restless night. Not in quite so much discomfort. Yesterday wasn't a brilliant day. Today's been a bit better, but I took a causticum remedy. I'm taking one a week, which is for grief. But Lee said if I do need to take one at any point during the week to help with pain, then to take the lower potency. So I'll see you back in a bit. I was going to do some jasmine rice with the leftover dal, but we don't really have it in the budget. I think I'm probably going to go over as well a little on the budget this week, which is disappointing, but when you consider how much everything has cost, it's hardly surprising. The cost of living's gone up by about a third, so the fact that last week I was in budget by 10 pence is an absolute miracle. By rights I should have probably given myself at least £25 a week to spend, but there you go, this is extreme. I'm going to crack an egg into these ramekins. What I'm actually going to do is, once the dal is nice and hot, I'm going to bake these eggs with the dal. Hopefully they won't break. The shell's not very good on that one, I must say. Goodness knows what they feed the chickens these days. The one on the left is yours, Dan, because it's bigger. It's got a nice yellow yolk. See the difference? Nice deep. Mine, even though it's a free range, is a little on the pale side. But never mind, that'll do nicely. And for dessert, we're going to have one of the dishes I made last week, which is baked apples. Well, last week, Dan's mum gave him this tuna salad, similar to the tuna on the go, but from Lidl. So I'm going to send him out with this tomorrow. Obviously it's free food, and he's still got some soup left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of the salad, it's still perfectly fine, just in the bottom, just to give him a little bit of variety. There we go. And then I'm going to chuck in this beautiful salad. It's got all sorts in, beans and tuna. Obviously, Dan's had a lot of bread recently. I've had quite a bit, I've gone more than I should. But it's no wonder I'm aching a bit. It's inflammatory in that quantity really for me. But that looks nice. So I'm going to give Dan 2 or 3 corn thins to take with him as well. Again, we didn't pay for these, his mum brought them a little while ago actually, but they keep really well in a sealed container, so we can take 2 or 3 of those. There we go. So that looks really healthy. There's beans, lots of tuna, full of protein, and a lot cheaper than the John West tuna on the go as well. And he's got his little bit of salad there, and he's still got a good amount of beef soup. I usually make Dan's soups a bit on the thick side, so he can either choose to have it like a stew or add some water to it and have it more like soup. So it's entirely up to him. The apples from the Too Good To Go aren't too bad. There's a little bit of bruising, but I'll wash that and send him off with that. He's got cutlery in his car, so he can cut any manky bits off. But that's a nice little bit of fruit for him. an apple a day keeps the doctor away, and indeed it does. I'm going to make up some custard. I've got about a tablespoon or so of sugar and then the same of custard powder. And I'm going to just put in a little milk, because this is all the milk we've got now for Friday. We can't touch the milk that comes on Thursday till Friday, so we have to make do with this. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to make up some of this with water and use it like semi-skimmed. It's gold top. That will be fine. So that's what we'll be using for drinks tomorrow. Just so it lasts a bit longer. I need to ink it out now. So I'll just top this up with water. And then when we've had our mains, we can heat this in the microwave and have it with our spiced apple for dessert. That looks really nice. I'm going to add the eggs now. I've done some fried bread to go with the dal. There we go, look at those. So I'll give you an egg. I hope I can keep it in one piece. Oh, look at that. Oh, there, look.
That was well caught. I think you should be in the cricket team.
I'm always dropping things, so I'm quite good with the reflex action because I'm so good at dropping things. I kind of catch them in mid-drop, so to speak. Anyway, that's a nice yolk there. So you give that a go. Let me know what you think of the dal with the egg.
Crack with the egg, bit of yolk.
It's slightly over.
Slightly, only slightly, but it's nice.
I was waiting for you to come downstairs. Because the thing is, eggs continue to cook even when you take them out. So do most things, actually.
Yeah.
It's not your fault, though. You know, you have to do what you have to do.
It's really nice, it goes well. It's a bit hotter than it was.
Yes, I thought it might be.
So it's a chance to mature a bit.
Well, that's not bad.
No.
That's good. Well, mine's more over than yours. It was in the casserole that bit longer. I'm not doing very well now with this egg malarkey, never mind. Not to my usual standard, but it tastes alright.
Yeah, it's pretty good. It's lovely.
But you were saying, weren't you, Dan? You madman, what did you charge £2.20 out for spray oil for? When it's something essential that you need from the store cupboard in terms of seasonings. And I mean, I've used hardly any of it anyway, and you're probably right. So I'm going to recredit that £2.20. Stewed spiced apple here. They were whole, but they're so tender and falling apart. That's mine. Yours is the bigger one. And then there's some juice. It's been done in cinnamon and cloves and star anise and cardamom, so it's nice. This is very good. This spice is very good for the health. Okay. And then something probably not quite as healthy is this lovely custard. Cream would have elevated it, but sadly we haven't got any. So when? There's a drop there. you give that a go.
That's lovely. Like a bit of spiced apple. The custard's nice.
Oh, good. There's a bit of custard left.
Probably have seconds.
I don't blame you. Bon appetit, babe. Well, so end of another day of good eating, albeit very humble food. Nice full bellies. The weather's miserable, still wet and miserable. The fur babies are queuing up for the food already. It's not quite their time, but Merlin is usually queuing for an hour before the food is due, as usual. I will see you tomorrow for day 13. I wonder what I can create tomorrow. Well, we'll see, won't we? Bye for now. Well, hello everybody. Now, last night I went along with Dan and decided to credit the £2.20 I spent last week on the oil, because really it would go with store cupboard seasonings, oils and that sort of thing. So he's probably right about that. You need to draw the line somewhere, which gives me a little bit more to play with, just a tad, although I can't go mad. So I've been able to adapt today's meal to incorporate a couple of corn sausages each. I got a bag for £2 recently at Farm Foods Freezer Centre. There's 12 in a pack. So you're looking at 64 pence for the 4 sausages. I'm going to be doing bangers and mash, but it's a mixed vegetable mash rather than just potato on its own. I've had quite a bit of potato this week and also bread, and I'm feeling a bit woo. So I want to take it down a little bit, but we're going to have a nice red onion gravy. I'm going to use up the red onion that I was using last week, just for the gravy. And for lunch today, I'm having a tinned mackerel salad with a boiled egg, and Dan will be taking a mackerel salad for his lunch tomorrow. I've been chopping up a few vegetables. I like to do prep when I think about it, and now I'm going to make a jar of kimchi for my brother. It's his birthday coming up and I usually like to send some pickles. We like our ferments and pickles. I'm going to do him a jar of red cabbage kimchi with some chopped ginger. I've only got frozen ginger still, and some cumin seeds. I'm just taking off one of the outer leaves to put aside. That will form a plug. Basically what you do is you put this in the top of the jar. It weights down the chopped cabbage. I might be able to get 2 plugs out of this. I'll probably chop all this cabbage and make a couple of jars because we're on our last jar. Washed thoroughly the cabbage. There's definitely enough for at least 2 jars. And what I'm going to do now is put the cabbage in a ceramic bowl, weigh it. I need to use about 3% pure kosher sea salt for the weight. In fact, I'll use this enamel bowl initially to mulch everything around in, and then I'll put it in the ceramic bowl. So let's just see what we've got. we have 511 grams. So we're probably going to get actually 3 jars out of this. Maybe 1 pickle jar, a medium-sized pickle jar, and probably 2 £1 jars as well. So rounding it down slightly, we will need probably about 15 grams of salt. I might round it up to about 16 just to be on the safe side, so that's what we'll do next. Some ginger, ginger is so good for you, it's got so many health benefits. It's really good as well if you've got a cold. Ginger and hot lemon, amazing. I couldn't find any cumin seeds, I must have run out, so I'm going to add some dried thyme instead. Thyme is a natural anti-inflammatory. Smells lovely. You can also, if you like, add some garlic or some chilli, and you can add carrots. Sometimes I do that, but I can't spare any carrots at the moment. I've got 1 left, that's all. But I think I will probably add a bit of garlic. So let's see where we are with the salt. I need 16 grams. I'm going to add 1 big fat garlic clove. You can add more if you like, but I find that after a week it's quite strong anyway. The garlic oil is released and it's absolutely gorgeous, so I'm going to chop this quite finely. If you want to, you could also add some turmeric. Again, at the moment I don't have any fresh root, but when I can get hold of turmeric root, I will add that. I love fresh turmeric. Sometimes it's difficult living on an island to find what you need. It's not the smallest of islands, it's 142,000 people approximately, but they're doing lots of house building, it's only likely to get bigger. You've got quite a dense population for the size of the island. There we go. Just very finely, I'm going to add that now. Now I do have clean hands, so this is the exciting part. You can wear gloves if you like, and sometimes if I've cut myself I will put gloves on, but the hands are clean. That's just stained with red cabbage. I have washed them, but it'll be a while before the red cabbage stains come out. So I'm just going to get the hands in there and give it a good mulch. You want the salt to permeate all the cabbage and the extra ingredients. Some people use a 2% salt to raw ingredients, and I did that last time. I do prefer the punchier ferment. The last one was a milder ferment, which was nice for a change, especially at Christmas, but I like that extra punch, so I've upped it to 3%. You don't really want to use much more salt than that, because otherwise it'll be a bit too salty. What we're doing here as well is helping to release the natural liquids. And I'll be covering this up now in my mum's ceramic bowl and putting it in the fridge. I'll either pot it up tonight or in the morning. Sometimes I do leave it for 24 hours. You get quite a powerful ferment. You see all the liquid. And it will leach out more as it rests as well. We're using spring water. You can use filtered water, but it mustn't come from the tap. Just tear bits a little bit thick. There we go. That looks to be hunky-dory. Well, it's been a busy morning. The salad should keep me going this afternoon. I had rather too much bread yesterday. I had one piece this morning for breakfast. We're running low on eggs. I'll need some eggs tomorrow. No eggs for breakfast. I've got an egg for lunch. And I've opened a tin of mackerel in tomato sauce. There was really only one mackerel fillet and some other bits in tomato sauce, so I've cut it in half. Dan will get the other half tomorrow for his lunch, and I'm having some of the leftover salad box, which I'll top up today as well. So I've got enough for Dan's lunch tomorrow and maybe mine as well. It's very nice. I'm having a slice of bread and butter with my salad, and it should keep me going for the afternoon. I haven't really been eating in between meals. Granted, I had a shortbread biscuit this morning from our food hamper, but I haven't really had any snacks at all the rest of the week in between meals. The salad is very good. I'm enjoying it a lot. This afternoon, my plan is to do some paperwork, maybe a bit of video editing, and I want to wash my hair. And maybe have a soak in the bath. I'm having a better day today. Slowly and surely I'm healing. I'm doing my best to make sure I have not just enough omega-3, but also enough collagen. The egg yolks and the mackerel will help provide me with that. So I'm going to crack on with lunch now, and I'll see you later. Well, it's tea time now. I've done some admin and a bit of video editing. I've powered through quite well today with one thing and another. I've had a better day with my back. It's mainly in the sacrotuberous ligament. I was diagnosed in 2019 with inflammation of the sacrotuberous ligament. While it's associated with the lower back, it can also be a side effect of fibromyalgia. That ligament is one of the few tender points in the lower part of the body. Most fibro tender points are in the top half of the body. And I reckon I probably tore or strained that ligament in November, pulling up those fennel roots, so it's going to be a bit of a long journey, but I've done quite well today. I went to sleep listening to some solfeggio music. I think healing music is very powerful. I've used it in the past for different things. Anyway, it's time to make the supper. I've got a pan of veggies on. What I did was I soaked the potatoes in water for a few hours to get as many of the starches out as possible. I've chopped up a couple of carrots and the last of the white cabbage. So there's not a huge amount of potato in the mash. Dan wanted plenty of mash, but I've made sure I've got other things in there as well, and it's not just those starches. I haven't had as much bread today, which is good. Still probably a little more than is satisfactory, but nonetheless 2 slices is better than 3 or 4. And my mackerel and egg salad was delicious. So we're having corn sausages, and we're having 4 of those, 2 each. So 4 of those comes to around 66 pence. It's 66.66 pence, but I've rounded up 1 or 2 other things, so I'll round that one down to just 66p. I have 3 left in that packet, which will probably do me maybe a lunch or 2 next week, or maybe for supper in a couple of weeks or so if Dan's staying at his mum's overnight and I'm in need of supper ideas and I don't have energy to make anything much from scratch. They will do nicely. In the meantime, I've sliced the rest of the red onion. That's for the red onion gravy to go with the sausages this evening. And I'll go and prepare Dan's salad lunch for tomorrow. We don't have much lettuce left. There's still some bits in the salad box, but I picked these from our garden. These are lovely. Most of these are oak leaf. I have these cut and come again lettuces. We've been using them throughout the winter. They're still doing okay. They're under fleece, but I think they're starting to die back a little now. I'm not sure how many more meals we will be able to get out of them because there's not enough sun or warmth for them to flourish. But we'll see. At least they've not been frostbitten. The fleas had managed to flap loose, but I've secured it again. So I'm going to add these to the salad box and some other goodies and then make Dan's salad out of what's in there. Hopefully there'll be enough salad for my lunch tomorrow as well. I've already done some carrot ribbons there, look. I had most of the old salad at lunchtime myself, so I'm making this new batch up. To be honest though folks, we don't have much left. We have still got about 2/3 of the organic cucumber that we had from Too Good To Go. Some radishes. I put some red onion in there. I have 1 tomato left from the food bank that we got after Christmas and some other bits and pieces. It'll be enough, I'm sure. I've also got most of an apple that really needs using because it's starting to go off. That was also from the Too Good To Go. Most of the apples in that pack have been bruised, so need eating up fairly quickly. I think we'll be having another poached apple pudding yet for supper this week, and I will probably do one for myself for breakfast tomorrow morning. I fancy a bit of change from the usual toast or whatever's going when you're near the end of your budget for the week. This is the base of Dan's salad. There's the apple chopped up. What a good rescue of it, and some tomato. And then the other half of the avocado. You remember I had a smaller half for lunch today. This is the avocado I got on the yellow ticket last Friday for 55p. Even though it was a small avocado, it was in good nick. Often at this time of the year, avocados are really manky. They tend to be frozen and they go all discoloured and bruised. But this one is a nice one. It just took a few days to ripen, that's all. So I'm going to add a few of these bits, just to give it a bit more variety. There we go, that's looking better, isn't it? And I've got that there for a meal for me tomorrow. I think I'll probably do myself a jacket potato with the other half of those baked beans and a bit of cheese. I could eat this with it, but to be honest, I'll probably eat this at lunchtime. I don't know whether I'm going to have a cream cheese sandwich or whether I fancy peanut butter. I might have peanut butter for a change. It's full of protein. That looks rather nice anyway. I'll enjoy it, whatever I decide to eat. I'm also going to give Dan this little bit of Bambi pie. It's only a small slice. That was in the freezer. And later I'm going to do some quick soup. I'm using half a beef stock pot with some water or veg stock, whatever I've got left. Probably some veg water from steaming the vegetables tonight. And some soy sauce. A quick kind of beefy miso, if you like. Cool, look at that. Isn't Dan a lucky boy? So this is corn sausage with onion gravy and mash. It's a vegetable mash. So give it a try, babe, and see what you think of it.
That's really nice. Nice gravy.
Is it?
Let's try the mash. That's nice and garlicky. It's lovely.
You happy with that?
Oh yeah, very nice.
Well, it's only humble food, but at least it'll keep your belly full. Well, that's the end of day 13. And tomorrow is day 14 and the last day of week 2. I can hardly believe we've managed it. Dan told me he'd really enjoyed his lunch and he enjoyed his supper. We've had a cup of green tea. You probably saw that we had beer. The beers were a present for Dan for Christmas. So we decided to crack one open. Dan's was alcohol free because Dan is going fishing in a while. And as it happens, he's not going out tomorrow till about 10 o'clock, so he said he would tune my piano. So I think instead of having apple, it'll be something like French toast. I've got 3 eggs left and I'll use 2 at breakfast. Anyway, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow for day 14. So what do you think of it?
This is really nice. I think bread.
It'll keep me going. Well, that was a nice breakfast. As you can tell, Dan is tuning my piano. He tuned it at Christmas, bless him, but due to the high humidity, it's raining again today, for example, it's soon gone out of tune. And as I've got perfect pitch, as has Dan, I know straight away when it's out of tune. It's a pity that I haven't got the skills of a concert pianist, because I do have a concert pianist's ear. It's just a shame about the playing. Never mind, I'll enjoy playing it when it's ready and just crack on. Mozart won't be giving me any prize anytime soon, of that I can be certain. As for Eric Satie, possibly. Einaudi, I would think so. An elementary one at any rate. Elementary in comparison to what he can produce. It's one thing playing a grade 7 Einaudi piano piece, but it's quite another having the skill of the maestro himself. And this is what it's doing outside. Horrible. I'm not walking in this. I had a better day yesterday and I don't want to go backwards again. It feels like a big sprain. It's gradually improving. I've been at the massage oil again. It's mainly in the sacrotuberous ligament itself now and the left leg. Mostly in the thigh and a bit in the calf, where the muscles are all tense and knotted. Well, I've had quite a busy day in my study. I've done quite a bit of editing of vlogs. I have scheduled 1 or 2 things. Merlin's tetchy, I haven't spent enough time with him. I think he and I need to have a bit of a cuddle on the sofa today. What do you think, Merlin? My breakfast filled me, but I've been hungry for a while. It's almost 3 o'clock and I've only just sat down to eat something. I'm having a bit of salad and half a cucumber and cream cheese sandwich, as you've seen, with the free bread. I'm having comfort food later. I'm going to have a jacket potato with the other half tin of beans and some cheese. I'm in need of comfort food. If I'm really hungry, I'll make myself some soup with half a stock cube. In actual fact, that's not a bad idea because I've got Tai Chi and Qigong tomorrow. And I won't get back till probably around 1:45. So at least if some soup's made, I can just get it down me. I'll try and make sure that I have something reasonably substantial for breakfast. So I'll catch you in a while. I'm going to enjoy my lunch now and give my Bubba Merlin a big cuddle. This evening it was finally time to pot up the red cabbage that I'd left to ferment in the fridge yesterday. It smells really nice. It's going to be a really good kimchi. So I had 2 sterilised jars and I packed the red cabbage really well and pushed it down with a wooden spoon to compact it. You can get more in it that way. and I added whatever juices were in the bowl. I then topped the jars up with spring water so the chopped cabbage was all covered. It doesn't matter if the cabbage doesn't reach near the top of the jar, as long as your cabbage leaf plug is thick enough and or large enough to keep everything packed down. Always use either spring water or filtered water, not water straight from the tap. Then I put the jars in a plastic container in a cool, shady place. Every day or two, don't forget to unscrew the lids a little to let out any gases that are forming. You'll hear it go hiss. If you don't do this, then you might get quite a lot of leakage. Sometimes you'll get leakage anyway. And then just tighten the lids up again. Keep doing that every day or two. And then after a week, test the kimchi to see if it's to your liking. And then take the jars out of the container and put them in the fridge. Well, after quite a busy day, although I did manage to get some rest as well, I've got this lovely jacket potato with some of my homemade kimchi. I'm feeling tired now. I've done a reasonable amount of things today, but I'm just feeling tired. Sleep is very healing though, and I'm finally catching up on that sort of thing. So when you start to relax, everything just catches up with you. We've completed day 14 and tomorrow is day 15 of the challenge, so we're about to go into the third week. The milk and eggs came today. I haven't started using any. I'm on the last little bit of milk. I'm at my class tomorrow morning, so I'll try and rustle up a nice breakfast to keep me going because I won't get home till nearly 2 o'clock. It's so nice. Even on an island like that, travelling back and forth takes so much time. Although it was worse when we were living in London. It was often an hour and a half to and from work on top of the fairly long days that I used to have. This is yummy. The kimchi is yummy as well, although the new ferment is punchier. Very nice indeed. Just what I need on a wet and windy evening. So much rain, it's very depressing. The cats are all upstairs sleeping. I don't blame them. It is nice to have a newly tuned piano as well, I must admit. So I'm going to enjoy this now, and I'll see you tomorrow morning for day 15, and we will look at our reckonings as well and see where we are with the budget.